ahead and get on with the segment of tonight. We're going to talk about athletic privilege, um, and the lines that the athletic privilege cross. Now we know that athletes have been getting special treatment. You can see that on the field of play, court, what have you, off the court. But there are tiers to this shit. It's levels to this shit. Like look, um, I can speak. From whenever I first played the sport. I first picked up a sport in middle school. I've seen, people, give athletes, leeway on a lot of shit. Like
Oh yes.
grades in school, you get there kind of late. You had the coach kind of come over there, bend the teacher's
Shit,
ear.
Art Browns let niggas commit
Yeah.
real crimes.
Okay, so yeah, we go.
I'm just jumping right
Yeah,
into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
By the
jump
way,
right into it.
by the way, you should not do that. Let me
Yeah.
get close to the mic. Hey, don't let guys commit crimes.
So so what we're going to get into is pretty much the lines.
Can I
that
just
are,
real quick as far as the line was crossed? Because I just
yeah.
always, whenever you say Art Browns, I just have to bring up the man had a young lady come to him and say, "Hey, these guys seem like they may have sexually assault me." I think she used another term. And then he looked at her in the eyes and said, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't hang out with those guys. Those are bad dudes. They were starters. I'm sorry. Let's just continue." Like, no,
Yes.
you can't
Yeah.
let people break laws.
And
Well,
see,
let
and
me
that,
go. Wait. Yeah, you can't let people break certain laws. 'Cause I mean, if you're a 19-year-old and you get caught with a bottle of Jameson and you're fucking, what was the guy we just talked about? Pete, what's his name? Perkins. If I find Perkins with a bottle of Jameson, Perkins, we're gonna get you to where you need to be. Ain't nobody gonna see this ever again. But don't do this again. Don't make us look bad.
Right.
That's it, you know what I'm saying? But like, if I open the door, I'm like Perkins, and I'm on some junior shit. If you know, you know. Perkins, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who Junior is, don't you?
yeah, Players Club Junior.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if you walk in and the Perkins on some junior shit, then be like, oh my god, no, that doesn't slide. But yeah, like little shit, like yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like
But
I
there
can pay
is,
for your parking ticket. You
but
know what I'm saying?
there is like like how you were
Free
saying.
meals is cool.
Yeah,
Free
for
meals is
sure.
There are
cool.
tiers, to this, to it. Um, but let's talk about where it does become a line to where hey nigga, you tripping, or
Deshaun Watson.
yeah,
Bruh.
like
I'm just saying, since we talking about it, hey, the nigga
yeah,
thought because I was a superstar quarterback, you can jack my dick after I get this massage.
yeah,
Bruh.
yeah,
The line's crossed. You cannot. That's
yeah,
a line that's crossed.
yeah.
You can't
That's
do
what,
that. You
and
can't do that.
and,
Yeah,
and,
I'm just saying. I'm
you
just
know,
saying.
and the sometimes the punishment doesn't fit the crime, in some cases. And I'm gonna say this, we haven't talked about it yet, but the Brett Favre situation. Brett Favre is in
Wait, I'm
like
sorry. Wait. You said the punishment. Whose punishment? You talking about Deshaun's punishment?
no, I said sometimes the punishment doesn't fit, the crime,
Oh, I thought you were referring to him. I was like, nah, he
no,
got his punishment.
no,
Don't get me
not
wrong. He's
no, no,
nasty and he shouldn't have
no,
done it. He should have
no,
got
no,
punished. But
no. I'm talking about like with
Calvin
certain
Ridley?
instances. Yeah,
That
like
Sterling, he got hold.
yeah,
Oh my God! If you
yeah,
ever were to look at a system and say, "Why did it fuck me?" Like the just order of process bent Calvin Ridley
Yeah.
over and gave it to him
yes,
first night in prison style, and he did not deserve that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then to turn around and have that happen to you, and then look across the way and you see a guy that's been getting what I just said about Deshaun Watson, and he gets that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's but this is why I always say
There's a
everything is
reason.
case.
There is
Everything
a
is all,
reason.
but I say everything is case by case, and we should not look at to other things at all the time to solve certain cases because I think Calvin Ridley, I think he got some extra games for just pissing people off. But that's no here nor there. Whether that's
We can,
I think.
I can tell you the reason, but it's
No,
controversial.
go ahead. What's the reason?
Well, I think when you look at Deshaun Watson, I think we look at a lot of these owners, and a lot of these owners, are into this kind of stuff, sexual misconduct, sexual assault. I mean, if you take it an even step further, you look at Hollywood and you look at the Epstein case. None of the names are come out, so they are more lenient on it because you know how like y'all ever been in a situation where you mess up, so you're more lenient on those who do the same shit that you do.
Yes.
It's that versus when you touch a white man's money. Oh hell no! You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and we can say what we want, but we know it's true. That's why Calvin Ridley, you did that, and you're a black man. Oh no, nah, they ain't having it.
And on top of that, like gambling is just that thing that no matter right, wrong, you
He's
ever
stupid for
people,
doing it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, like you just don't touch it. Like we totally agreed that was an over punishment, but like gambling is something that you just don't touch because
Exactly, bro.
for some reason, like the powers that be just don't like gambling. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They like to hide behind the morals, and that's one thing that you could say is bad. And they like so, but he fucked with their money that way. But I mean, no, I think like you get what you get. Like it's kind of like you. I mean, shit. Let's be honest. You let bad bitches do a little bit extra. Like it's they. I mean, I
yeah,
mean, but some guys go a little too far. I think they call
right.
it pretty privilege or some shit like that. But some
Yeah.
guys go pretty too far, and we get into the tricking and simping range because you got the too far, then you got tricking, and then you got simping. And then you got
Yeah,
something past simping. We ain't gonna name that though. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna leave that into the gutters of what it is. Cause y'all niggas.
Territory
That's
unknown.
another podcast for another day. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So where was I? I was at the freaking simping.
Yeah, you were just saying that this motherfucker just went on a tangent and lost his position. Look, no, were you that there,
No,
bro?
no.
yeah, you
I
did.
was just making a point.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
just want that. I'm sorry. I just want that to really sink in.
yeah.
So you niggas
But
can
no,
stop that shit because you're crossing the line.
When
But
niggas
yeah,
is
no,
flipping, are
I
they
think when you,
pimping?
yeah, no, they just simping. Because pimping is dead. Because niggas ain't got the stomach for that shit. Now, no, I just think that when it gets into the point where you're just letting an athlete get away with murder,
Yep.
sometimes literally, you have a problem. But
Yep.
things like oh you came to this restaurant and we just happened to pay your bill because we like the way you play on Saturdays or Sundays. I'm not
Yep.
tripping on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's not. If someone gets mad at someone for that, like it's kind of like you
Right.
mad because they 6'4" can throw touchdowns or they can dunk a basketball and they're entertaining people to the point that this person feels compelled to do something for them. Like that's just what greatness does to
Right.
some people. And I'm not gonna fault those people for liking someone that much. Now you can go overboard. Don't go overboard. Don't trick and simp for athletes. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like, hey, yo, free meal, a ride, and a lot of times you give them a free meal, they'll tip you the price of the meal and plus some. So it's kind of like it's giving back. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's just one of those things that as long as it doesn't go too far, it's a case by case basis kind of deal. Like let
and
the chips fall where they may.
this is how kind of how I look at it is that because this if people that are not familiar with it, this is kind of in some degree athletes always get treated like this. From the moment you play the sport, if you're good enough,
Every level.
every level you're going to get breaks. You're going to whether it's you're going to get water first, whether you're going to get the pick your jersey number first, whether the coach gives you breaks or whatever the case may be, you are going to get some type of favoritism. So does this long term um yeah, shout out to Gravel Podcast Network. Talent is king in every industry. That is 100% true.
No, I was just
Uh,
about to say what you just said was a great point, Boogie. But I would challenge anybody in the comments of any everywhere what Boogie just said. Where does that not count? If
well,
you're
well, well,
pretty,
well,
if
well,
you're
well, well,
nice, if you're,
well,
you know
well,
what I'm saying, like
what I was trying to
smart.
say
Right. Right. Right.
was this is that um, after years and years and years and years of this type of pampering, let's just call it what it is, this type of pampering and conditioning, um, you know, this must breed, some type of, personality traits or, or characteristics, in these athletes. And then, because I mean, look, if you get treated like this your whole life, you got to expect that you're going to get
Right.
a lot of things coming your way. So I think that, long term, it does have an effect on, probably how they look at certain situations because they've been getting it their way for so
But
long.
I think one thing that athletes and everybody that gets a certain type of privilege need to realize is you're getting this because of what you're providing. And I think the psychological like disconnect is when they stop providing that, like they still want the same thing. Like if you're no longer 6'4" that has a 50-inch vertical and can entertain, like then they're no longer going to do this, and you shan't fault them for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're no longer giving them what they want, so they no longer can give you that in return. So I think that's the bigger thing is when it stops, like who can deal with it and how can they deal with it
Yes.
more so
It,
because it when you don't look the same as you did when you're 21, young
yeah,
lady,
yeah,
that
and I,
dudes do different
yeah,
things. You
yeah.
know what I'm
I
saying?
about to,
It's the same thing. But I think that's the underlying factor that nobody really talks about is like, well, you have a lot of this and you do this for this person. It's like, well, yeah, like as of this point right now, they are doing the things that make me want to do this. But after that, they're not. Like,
that's why they get
you know what
paid
I'm
the big
saying?
Yeah.
Like
bucks.
we don't look for Pinky no more. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. That was too far.
Dog, shut up, dog. But you're right.
I'm sorry.
We ain't checking for Pinky no more, man. It's been a
What's
good run.
what are we no
It's been a good run.
what are we gonna right now a lot of guys will buy some bottles in a section with Tiana Trump. What you gonna do when she 45?
All right. Hey,
Keep
and on that
drinking.
note, yeah, and on that note, all right. But so one thing I want to talk about is the Brett Favre situation. Like Brett Favre has, we all know the welfare scam, and it was another thing that he was just mentioned in. Um, a lot
Brett
of
Favre
people
deserves to go to jail. I
look, and
think
let's talk
He
fuck
about that.
does, bro.
fuck
Let's talk
you.
about
I
let's
have a
talk about
lot of
that.
ancestry that comes out of that great state of the SIP.
Some
By
people
the
don't
way,
believe that
listen,
Brett Favre is going to see the inside of a cell. He
he
said he's going
probably isn't.
to.
He
He
ain't gonna go
stole
to
from
jail.
stealing from Mississippi is like waiting for the crackhead down the street to make $1,000 and taking it from him when his back is turned. And I'm allowed to say that because I spent a lot of time in that state and I have a lot of family from that state and my family derived from that state. So I love Mississippi, but I can tell the truth. Mississippi down bad. And he's dirty for that shit. Like he didn't have to do that. He deserves to go to jail and all the consequences. Consequences, yes. I've been listening to Rich Homie. He
Yeah.
deserves all the consequences that come along with it. Brett Favre, let me tell you, this has nothing to do with sports sushi at all. Me, Russell Johnson, nigga, I don't like you. Like, if I see Brett Favre on the streets, I might swing on you, bro. Like, Mississippi is the last place that deserved any of that from you. That was a weak gunshot. Yeah, I want the
Yeah.
gunshot.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 4-5, nigga.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
You ain't
nah.
making it from that one.
Yeah, nah. I just, it was horrible. The reasoning for doing it is horrible, and it's just, but hey, that's Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's sad
It's
because
like
people
it's
really don't
like their
think he's going to go
favorite.
to jail. Well, he's going to
It's
get
like their
really
it's like
punished.
their favorite activity. Let's fuck over the black people.
Shit. Shit.
Yeah.
What you got to say,
Who needs
sir?
who needs money? The Negroes. Let's get it to
Take
Brett
it.
Favre's daughter.
Take it.
Nigga, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No,
But
I'm not to Brett Favre. Fuck you,
but
Brett Favre. I meant that shit, but yeah.
that's corporate America. And I think, it's been one of those things and concepts that's been hidden for so long, or the attempt to hide it. But I mean, we can go into so many reasons, why blacks have a hard time getting loans in banks. And I mean, when we talk about opportunity and what's right and equity, we could talk for days about this stuff. But the fact that, there's all this other stuff going on in our world, and we're not, Brett Favre I feel like he's just coasting along, and no one's talking about it or bringing it. We want to talk about Kyrie Irving's viewpoints and Kanye West's viewpoints, or whatever side of the spectrum you land on. But you got a guy who stole $22 million government money, right? And it's just like, yeah, well, it's just Brett.
Mhm. And I was looking at it. It's just like with Brett Favre, the one thing that stood out to me whenever I sat here and I was looking at this shit, it was like nobody's talking about this. Like,
Yeah,
it got covered probably like maybe like, a couple of days and shit like that. But no, like, the one thing that I remember was y'all didn't do this shit, whenever, Mike Vick was, had his dog shit, y'all had him 24 fucking 7. It's like
Yep.
I see here. I turn on ESPN all hours of the day, and it's nothing but Mike Vick every hour
Yep.
about this damn dog shit. About this dog shit. But hey, man, he ain't still 50 million. $5 million in welfare funds, and then all this other shit. But hey, ain't nobody talking about that, and I wonder why.
Yeah. It's
You
sad.
know, and I want to say, really, the only athlete that comes to mind that let's just say that was white that did some shit that got covered heavily was the South African Olympic guy whenever he killed his wife or girlfriend, and that was the only time I've seen that, and that shit didn't even compare to the airtime they gave Mike Vick for what he did. Um, but man, hey man, look, you know it is what it is. I look at it like, oh well, Bradwick Enterprises, Ryan Leaf got some shine. Um, that was the whenever he was with the drugs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf he had a whole
Mental issues
yeah
and
yeah he
you
had a
know,
Okay.
but
whole
it
bunch
was
of
not, it
stuff.
wasn't as close to what Michael Vick got in the
Yeah
media,
yeah yeah
right? It wasn't
and
even it pales in
like
comparison.
and everybody and I know it's a cultural thing that differentiate that everybody that that looked like me and and was around me was just like dog, like come on fool, like dog fighting is
My
just
bad.
something that was around that
I have
time.
nothing to say about
Yeah,
dogfighting. I'm not going to get
yeah.
into that because every
I'm
time I
not.
talk about
Yeah.
dogfighting with people,
So look,
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
people.
Look, people, people love their dogs. I look in college. I worked at PetSmart. I know how much people love their pets. So so
I don't want to touch it. I
yeah.
don't.
So but I'm gonna say this like look, man. But I was sitting there, and I know that America loves dogs, but goddamn, dog, y'all are really going overboard with that shit. And that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I don't like PETA because another thing was they was trying to take money out of my paycheck and shit like that, trying to have me donate a percentage to y'all motherfuckers and shit. Man, fuck y'all, man. I'm in college. I need every single one of my goddamn monies and shit. Anyway, that's really why I got beef with PETA. Okay, because they was trying to take money, my hard earned monies. All right,
Wow.
all right. So
Now it comes out.
yeah,
Now
it
it
came to
comes
light.
out.
It
It
came to
came to
light.
light.
Came to
Full
light. All right,
circle.
cat's out the bag, man. All right, that's why I don't like Peter, man. Try to take my coins. All right, so let's get over to Russ's either or.